Nerds, hoarders, cokeheads, what's good? Back for another hard games to find video, whatever, I forget what I'm calling these. This is a video response to Playongo. If you're new, catch up. Um, yeah, basically going through a library for a system, my personal collection, and talking about the hardest games in that library for me to find. So let's just get right into it. First is Bullet Witch, developed by Cavia, distributed by Atari. Not quite Nier, and definitely not quite Bayonetta, though it was developed by the developers of Nier. Its story is nowhere near as good, and yeah, although it kind of looks like it might be like Bayonetta, it's definitely nowhere near as good, but it is still fun and a cool game. I've never found a complete copy of this game in the wild, which is just crazy because I know a lot of people have this game. But for me, very, very difficult game for me to find. In fact, I didn't even find this personally. This was sent to me by my brother to the north, Creeply. Shout out to the fam. But, yeah, still never seen a complete copy of this game that wasn't sealed. I do know where there's a couple sealed copies at a mom and pop shop. They want like $40 or something. Next is Cold Set Saga, distributed by Namco Bandai. This game, personally, I think sucks. I think this game is super, super boring. That said, I haven't had the opportunity to play it with other people. You can play up to 3 people on the same TV, which is cool. So if I ever have 2 people over that want to give this game a chance, maybe then it'll have a little more charm and life. But as a solo or single player experience, it's pretty bland and pretty dry. So I don't recommend this game, but maybe I'm not playing it right. Like I said, it might be awesome when you play with other people. I don't really know. Another game I think kind of sucks, Zoid's Assault here. Published by Atlas and developed by... Who developed this? Why can't I remember? Anyway, this game is super difficult. There's like a huge difficulty spike is the problem with this game. Also, it's just really muddy looking, very bland environments, super menu heavy, just not a very fun game. Personally, I think if you are a fan of the Zoids franchise, you'd be better off playing Zoids on the GameCube. I think that game was much, much better than this game, but if you're a crazy collector like me, you want this game because Atlas published it. I can't blame you. That's why I wanted it. But I've never found this game in the wild complete, other than the time that I found it, which was at a pawn shop. I believe it was the same pawn shop I got Cold Step Saga at. There was this really cool pawn shop where I went to college that had $3 Wii games, $3 360 games, and $3 PS3 games. And they would do like buy 4 for 10, which was sweet. And they had like $2 PS2 games. Store was awesome. Got a lot of actually hard to find games at this store complete for whatever reason. Maybe people were picking over the GameStops, but I found a good amount of these games at that pawn shop. Continuing on, with Zoid's Assault, not much else to say about it. Only seen it complete this one time. Battle Fantasia by Arc System Works and published by Access Games. Really, really good fighter. I've heard people say that this is like BlazBlue or Guilty Gear for kids. I call bullshit. I don't think those people have actually played this game. This game has some difficulty, has some challenge on all the single-player modes. It might not be as combo-oriented as other Arc Systems fighters, but it's still very good and still poses a lot of challenge on the single-player modes. I'm repeating myself. A lot of style, very nice looking game. Story's really wacky and fun. This is a game I recommend if you have like friends over and you guys want to play a fighting game that's a little more accessible. This is a great option. Definitely have turned on some of my friends and family to fighting games through this game, which is really cool, and I definitely recommend it. In North America, this was a 360 exclusive, but in other regions it came out physically on the PS3. It just came out digitally on the PS3 in North America. Operation Darkness. Out of all these games, this is the game I have the most copies of. I have like 3 or 4 copies of this game. Battle Fantasia, I forgot to mention. I've never seen this game complete other than the one time that I got it. It's supposed to be the point of this video, and I keep forgetting to talk about that. But Operation Darkness, I have, I think, 3 or 4 copies of this game. Now, that doesn't mean it was easy to find, because I looked for this game for years without being able to find it. And then it seemed like I just found a whole bunch of copies in a short amount of time. Well, I found my initial copy after searching for a while, and then I found like 2 or 3 more, like all right in a row. But I still don't see this game often, and it's the game I always look for at GameStops because it's super cheap, and it just has like, not trying to, well, I am speculating, I guess, but not trying to encourage speculation and profiting or whatever. But this is a game that I just feel like has, you know, future pricey game written all over it. Published by Atlas, developed by Success, and Success makes awesome games, and it plays really well. It's very similar to Valkyria Chronicles, except it's super over-the-top, crazy science fiction look at World War II. Awesome game. Not the most polished game, for sure. I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't enjoy this game because of the mechanics and the gameplay wasn't up to par. Yeah, it's not a perfect game, but it is a fun game. And it's a game that I always look for whenever I'm out. And that's probably why I have so many copies of this game as opposed to other games that I'm showing right now, is because this is a game that I always look for at GameStop. Always. Both these games were super difficult to find. In fact, I had to resort to my friend who worked at GameStop calling around to other states to try and find complete copies of this game because there was just like none in New York apparently. But they are the Konami Classics compilations. Fantastic. What's unfortunate about these, and I mean Konami's not exactly known for good decisions, but they have 2 different discs here, Volume 1 and Volume 2, with essentially 3 fun games and 3 kind of throwaway games in my opinions. Obviously there's Contra, Castlevania, and Super Contra, which are, you know, pretty damn good ports in my opinion. And then you have Russian Attack, which is like a shitty Contra, and then fucking Track and Field, and Frogger. So it's like, who the fuck wants to play those games? But what blows my mind is that these games aren't more sought after. I mean, it's fucking Symphony of the Night, one of the best games ever made on the 360. It looks great. It is a little awkward playing it with the 360 controller, but I'm not really a big fan of the 360 controller, which I know is blasphemy, but it's just my preference. But yeah, really cool compilations. Could have been one really cool compilation if they just put those 3 games all on one disc, but I guess they wanted to be able to sell twice as many, whatever. I never see these still to this day. I never come across these ever. And that's just how it is. I think I might have gotten one locally, and my friend found the other one. But I know one of them definitely was much harder to find than the other, though I can't remember which one it was. I want to say 2 was the harder one to find. Which my 2 actually needs to be replaced because my disc is really scratched. It works, but it still bothers me. Anyway, hard games to find. World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. This is another game I got from that pawn shop. This game is fantastic. You actually race against other, well, obviously you race against other racers, but real world sprint car racers. I'm into motorsports. I really like NASCAR. I like sprint cars. I like that shit. I guess, you know, that's a little bit of hillbilly in me. I don't know. I just think that shit is fun and cool, and I've always liked NASCAR games and racing games, and this game is a blast. You start out as like a rookie, you go through your career mode, whatever you want to do, or you can just do shorter races. But it's a blast, man. Highly recommended, but it is fucking expensive. I think this is one of the most expensive games on the 360. And I think it's because of its scarcity, because it was published by THQ, who obviously went out of business around this time, and I don't think they made a hell of a lot of them. But there is a Outlaws Sprint Car game on the PS2, which isn't nearly as pricey or uncommon. I have that game as well. Definitely give that a thumbs up too. But yeah, probably one of my favorite games on the 360. I've put tons and tons of hours into this game. A lot of fun. And hands down, the hardest 360 game for me to find, no question, Fatal Inertia. This game I didn't even think existed. It got to be so hard for me to find this game, I wondered if it was even real. It's just a game I never ever fucking see. I finally found a copy at GameStop that you could tell was at one time new and converted and used by the layer of stickers, price stickers like that big. You could just see how it had gone down over time and over time and over time, and at the very bottom was a new sticker. So it was a new game, but it wasn't sealed. But still, I was super happy to find it. I think it was $1.79 or something, and I had been looking for this game for years. As a huge fan of Jet Moto, I always wanted to check this game out. Is it as good as Jet Moto? I don't know. I kind of don't like the combat aspect, but the racing is a lot of fun. The music is awesome, and I would definitely recommend this game too. Super fun game. Published by Koei. Can't remember who developed this. Shit, it's been a couple months since I played it. I want to say Koei developed it too, but I think I'm wrong. Regardless, it's an awesome game. It runs on the Unreal Engine, so it looks fucking crazy. One of the better looking 360 games in my opinion, though I've heard people say that they think this game doesn't look good, which I just think is nuts, because I think this game looks awesome. The blur effects and shit are just wild, really tripped out visuals for a racing game. Fantastic, highly recommended. Fatal Inertia, hands down, what I believe to be the hardest 360 game to find, at least in my collection. So that's it for 360 games that were a fucking pain in the ass for me to find. Let me know, guys, what the hardest 360 games in your collection were to find. I'm sure I missed some, and I tried to avoid talking about ones that Playongo already mentioned in his video. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this one. I'll probably do a PS3 one next, though that's proving to be the hardest one, because really not many PS3 games I think are that difficult to find. There's a few that are obvious, but overall, not like the Wii and the 360. And I'm not talking about like shitty games. Like, I'm talking about games that like you actually would want to play. At least games I would want to play. Maybe you know, see this video and wouldn't want to play fucking one of these games, and I don't blame you if that's the case. But yeah, I don't know. At this point, I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna cut it short, and I don't know, probably make a sandwich or something.